Hi everyone, it's Sam Robertson here from Jim's Building Inspections, and we're here with Tim Freshney in beautiful Brighton East on a sunny day, and we're at a new construction stage inspection. So I just want to talk about the range of inspections we do and talk about, Tim, why with the career change from coming from building into a building inspection franchise such as this, a lot of the guys don't realise that we don't just do pre-purchase building inspections, we do a range of reports.
Yeah, that's right. So I've got a background in carpentry, registered builder, and from doing new homes, extensions, renos, the standard spiel. You get to a point where you either embrace that and want to keep doing it. I got to a point where I felt it was time to make a change, and I looked into the different options and. I started that process, and the honest answer is that Jim's were the first and still to this day only one to get back to me.
Well, that's a start.
So I mean that flies through to even today with the leads that we get. If sometimes people have contacted 3 or 4 people, and you might be the first or you might be the only one to contact them, and it's basic customer service. You get back to them and you're in the game, So, and those reports that we're doing, new construction, building and pest, for pre-purchase, building inspections. If you've got some structural issues you want to get identified, asbestos, meth, mould, dilapidation reports, depreciation. There's a wide range, and one of the good things that I really like about it is that you can turn on and off and offer those services, but you don't have to offer all those services. So that gives me the flexibility to do what I'm enjoying doing.
That's a good point you make. So a lot of franchisees come out, they try everything, try all the services, which is great, but they tend to find their niche after a while, and it's not necessarily what they thought they'd be doing at the start. It's something they've found their way into and found the way that they're better with clients and those sort of things with it.
Yeah, I think some of the times it can come down to what you're interested in. My kids at school do well at the subjects that they're interested in. They like the teachers. So I think it's similar to that. I've got a strong affinity for building and for waterproofing. So to that extent, I went and actually did a Certificate 3 in waterproofing, and I've mould. I've done further education on that as well. So having that extra knowledge and information is really important, but it's also made me better at my job in doing what I'm doing as well. So.
And having things like the call centre, the leads are getting through to you fairly quickly. So you're at a point where you're generally talking to the client first. And conveying the range of services we can provide for the client. So they're quality leads, aren't they?
They are, and quite often, when you call the call centre, you've got the option to get transferred straight through, so there's not even a wait time there. Usually the client will get contact within 5 or 10 minutes, maybe a bit longer if I'm stuck under a house somewhere or something like that, but generally within sort of 10 to 15 minutes we're talking to the client, and that quite often they're surprised that they've had a phone call. You call them on a Sunday afternoon after they've put an online lead through or something like that, and like, I didn't expect you to call until Monday, and it's just common sense to do that.
Particularly with our type of reporting too, like people are actually anxious when they're buying a house or they're building, and they want to talk to someone there and then, and we're on the phone to them straight away, and they really do see, well, this is a professional group, he's got all my details, he's speaking to me straight away. That will relay onto the quality of his work and his inspection. Yeah, absolutely, and having that, usually when people are calling us, it's about a specific issue or query that they've got. But sometimes it can be just as simple as just wanting to do my due diligence. We've heard a few horror stories. Nothing worse than getting a call from someone who bought a house 12 months ago and it's now got major issues, and they're kicking themselves that they didn't do a building and pest inspection or whatever it happens to be. So being there and doing that and having really good, happy customers is really important. Okay, so here we are at a lockup stage. So the client wants us to check for with a defect report before they pay their progress payment for Lockup. I get a lot of questions from potential franchisees. Oh, the builder won't want me on site. You know, we're going to tell them all the doomsday problems that they've got. But a lot of the time, we're sort of that in-between person, aren't we? So a client might have an issue with something, and we can actually understand what the builder's doing. So a lot of the time, we're allaying the customer's fears, and builders generally welcome us on site.
Yeah, look, as long as you know, as you know, we're providing impartial information for the most part.
Yeah.
Any client that, I vet my clients as well, and they are my clients. If I feel like they're trying to do the wrong thing, just as if the builder's trying to do the wrong thing, I try and identify that, because I don't really want to be involved in that.
Yep.
I'm not going in there to sink the builder or anything like that. It's more about looking at it objectively, and most of the time when there is a problem, the builder doesn't even know about it. You know, the builders might be, they might have 3, 4, 10 jobs, and they're not actually, on site all day, every day. So when they get this information, it's a chance for them to go back to their subbies to repair the problem, and it's their quality. They almost should be paying for the service, because it's a quality control for them. The larger builders have quality control people that go around and do that, but they miss things too, and it's important to get as much information about your build. You're spending a lot of money on it, and you want to know that it's right, it's compliant, and that you've done everything you can to make that happen.
And with our reporting system, so there was no way we were going to convert builders to doing building inspections and writing reports all night. You virtually can do the report on site, as long as you muck around with a few little photos just to put the report together. But are you coming home at night with much paperwork, or is it basically getting most of it done?
I think a lot of the guys, it's a bit of a mixture. Some guys do it on site. I personally prefer to be off site when I'm doing it, but I take a ridiculous amount of photos too. So I can pretty much run through any inspection I've done again. So I'm generally taking, I wouldn't take less than probably 200 photos on a job. I did one last week where I took nearly 600 photos. Yeah. So I'm not just taking photos of defects and problems. I'm taking photos of good things as well, and also areas that are, just identifying the various areas around the house, so that if I do need to, I can go back to it. But I'll generally get my reports done in the afternoon, and of course, sometimes into the evening. I was working 12, 14, 15-hour days as a builder. I'm doing a lot less now, but it just depends on workload, and that depends on how much workload I want to take on as well.